So what do you think of when you hear LGBTQ community? Some people believe them as immoral, strong-willed, or just regular people. Needless to say, there are a lot of perspectives on this community, and we will be talking about some of these perspectives. We believe this is relevant to us because you eventually are going to run into a situation where you have to work with somebody that's not going to have the same views, same lifestyle, same characteristics as you are. And in order to reach a common goal, you're going to have to learn how to work cooperatively and look past those differences. And so the perspectives I will be talking about are why transgender rights should be separated from gay rights, should we implement laws to protect LGBTQ community members against discrimination specifically, and then my personal perspective. And Elena later will be discussing views on same-sex marriage, same-sex parenting, and then her perspectives. So to start, transgender rights should be separated from gay rights, as some believe. One reason for this is a religious aspect, and from research I have done, it seems that people accept gay rights easier than transgender rights because they don't necessarily agree with the body modifications that they go through. They believe it is a sin because in their minds it is destroying what God created and is challenging his judgment. And so another reason why people believe their rights should be separated is because of the different paths, so to say, that they take. In an article on why gay rights and trans rights should be separated, written by Tyler Curry, posted on the HuffPost website, updated December 6, 2017, transgender is a gender identity and not a sexual orientation. And so I put this up as to kind of explain this. So you are your own person, you walk your own path. Transgender rights has its own path, people believe, and it's completely separate from those of gay rights. So this distinguishment is the reason why transgender rights have been left behind, so to say, in the fight for equal rights. Often this is because people misunderstand it as being a part of the gay community, which is not necessarily the case. Also, those who identify as transgender suffer from more injustices, and one movement, some believe, they cannot solve the rights of both groups. Another perspective on the LGBTQ community is that laws should be implemented to protect them specifically from discrimination. On the American Civil Liberties website, an organization working to protect rights and liberties of people under the U.S. Constitution, accessed November 17, 2018, states there is a general agreement Americans have for it being illegal to discriminate. However, only a few states have actually placed laws to protect that. People who identify as being part of the LGBTQ community have been fired from their jobs, bullied in schools, and have felt like they've had to hide in their environments in order to succeed. And so a man of the gay community shares his story on the Centers for American Progress website, an independent institution working to better American lives, in an article written by Sejal Singh, published May 2nd, 2017, saying that he tried to minimize bias against himself by lowering his voice and wearing darker clothing so it didn't appear that he was as feminine as he expressed. And he did this because he was afraid of missing out on building relationships with coworkers and bosses that could potentially influence his career in a positive way. Another reason people believe discrimination should be it should be illegal to discriminate against LGBTQ community members has to deal with a situation as simple as going to the bathroom. And so one view is that gender discrimination is the same as sex discrimination. And in an article titled Sex Discrimination and Transgender Bathroom Case, written by Ilya Soman, posted on the Washington Post website, published October 31st, 2016. It describes a transgender male, who would have been biologically female, fighting to use the men's restroom within the schools. And so their perspective on this is that people should use whichever bathroom that they identify with as their gender rather than their biological gender. And so then, lastly, I will talk about my perspective, and it has to deal with a famous document and education. So one of the things written in the US Constitution says all people have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And so when I think of LGBTQ community, I think of nothing more than people just pursuing their own happiness, and everybody deserves to have that. And as long as it's not affecting your life, like, it's not your problem. And so everybody deserves to have that. The other thing is education. So I live in the Upper Peninsula, and compared to bigger cities, even Adrian, it's not as diverse up there. And so even if you're not exposed to that at an early age, you travel to bigger cities, you go to college, and you experience that stuff. And also through like social media and doing my own research, I've kind of exposed myself, and I came up with my own beliefs before I came to college. And so I didn't really have what people say are like culture shock when you come to secondary education. And so I already established my beliefs before I came here, and it's just, as long as you educate yourself and you understand, it's just what people do. It's like their happiness, it's their thing, doesn't affect you. So that is my perspectives. And so then I will move off to William.